So Justin and I are at CFL week, and instead of our typical stand-up, let's pretend we're on TV when we're definitely not on TV, we thought we'd try something a little different. So these are going to be our CFL week fireside chats.
It's so cozy.
We are in Regina. We rented an Airbnb near downtown Regina so that we didn't have to stay in a hotel, and it's worked out pretty well.
I think it's a good spot.
Yeah.
A lot of room, a lot more space than in a typical hotel room.
Yeah, which I think would have either been expensive for 2 rooms or a little cozy for just one.
And by the end of the week, we might have wanted to
murder each other even more than usual.
Sandwiches, maybe.
A little chucking knuckles. So CFL week, day one, hard to get a sense of what it's going to be like sort of for the community. From a media standpoint, this was sort of the first real action day. And cool setup, I thought. They had sort of TSN and the CFL doing their shoots in one part of the building, and then they had a sort of media room with a whole bunch of different stalls, and there was all media from around Saskatchewan and us and TSN and some of the more conventional media set up in this one big room, and the players moved around and talked to everybody, and it was kind of cool to sort of get access to the players and talk to them in a more casual sense.
Certainly from what they did last year in Toronto when they ran through the car wash and TSN did their shoot, much different because there was essentially one room last year where all of the other reporters were in a hotel room gathered around a table, not being able to get the players one-on-one. So that's a big change. Smart move by the CFL.
Yeah. And so we talked to, we talked to a lot of people today. Simone, we talked to Sean Lemon, Chris Williams.
Jerome Messam.
Yeah.
Levi Mitchell.
Yeah.
On and on.
And some of this stuff, I don't think we'll have much content coming out of it necessarily right away. But it's stuff that you can sort of put away for stories down the road. Great for relationship building too. And just talking to guys in more casual atmosphere. So many times when you do interviews with guys after practice or after games, it's a very formalized environment. Guys are sort of in, player mode, and it's a very formalized atmosphere, and that makes for canned answers. Whereas in this sort of situation, I think it's a much more casual approach, much like our fireside chats, and it makes for a more compelling discussion.
Really, and even when the mics get turned off or the recorders get turned off, that's where some of the most interesting stuff comes, and you really feel like you get a sense of learning a little more about the player than you would when they're turned on. Yeah,
absolutely. So for the rest, tomorrow, same sort of thing, same sort of setup with a bunch more players, and then there'll be rules committee stuff tomorrow and Hall of Fame stuff tomorrow. I think we're going to go check out some of the fan events potentially as well, just sort of see how the town of Regina is reacting to CFL week.
Certainly looked like the first reception, the quarterback club was pretty packed and busy. We saw some rider gear at the airport when we got there with Kevin Glenn, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah, okay, we'll tell one funny story. So Kevin Glenn was on our airplane, and so as we get off, we're chatting with him, and he said, we were like, hey, do you want to share a cab or whatever? And he was like, no, someone from the CFL is going to pick me up.
Louis.
And so we're looking around, and there's a guy holding a sign, but can't really tell. So he goes over, and he looks, and that sign says Kevin James. And I'm like, I bet that's for you. And the guy goes over, and Kevin Glenn goes, are you here for the CFL? He's like, yeah, I'm here to pick somebody up. He's like, is it Kevin Glenn? He's like, so there's a great picture where Kevin Glenn's like, because of course this is basically the story of Kevin Glenn, right? Disrespected even in his own town. He was a good sport about it though.
He was really good sport. The picture's on your Twitter feed.
Yeah, well maybe we'll probably throw it up here at some point on this video, but yeah, one of many good stories that hopefully we'll share during CFL week in front of the fireplace.
Of course.